Hey everybody, it's Quickie Baby and welcome back to World of Tanks. Seeing how my last free-to-play video was so popular on YouTube, I'm back at it again. And yeah, Wargaming have given us another 24 hours of premium for free on the European server for playing 5 games. And so I played a bunch of games yesterday and it's 5 times experience. Now, let me just jump straight in. I thought, why not? I'll christen the KV2. Definitely not fully pimped out yet, but I've already got the 152mm gun on this tank. So I'm hoping it's going to go alright. Okay, let's see how our 87% skill is going to be able to do on our commander with no equipment at all. Still, it doesn't matter. We're gonna one-shot everything. That's how it's gonna go, right? So let me talk about these 5 times experience events and just how pivotal they were for me as a player back when I was free to play for the first 6 months that I played in 2011. It was only when I started to really need to unlock, whoa, music? Okay, we're just gonna go with it. Okay, I like this junkie music. It's pretty good anyway. So it was only really when I started to reach tier 8, 9, and 10, and I started to really get into this game that I even considered investing the money into the game to have a premium account. Now, having a premium account, if you're playing the game actively, if you're playing it like 20, 30, back then I was probably playing it for hundreds of hours each month, I have to admit. It's totally worth it because obviously you're going to be able to gain 50% more experience, but more importantly, the credit income is just absolutely dramatic. Wow, that was very weird. I'm so used to commentating onto replays that I kind of clicked around expecting it to kind of disjoint from the actual camera, but I just realized that I'm playing as well at the same time. Alright, so this stock KV2 turret, it definitely doesn't have the view range of the upgraded KV2 turret, and I'm not going to have the best rate of fire. Oh gosh, 24 seconds reload, but I'm not going to let that stop me. But anyway, let me talk again about how important it was for me back in the day. These 3 times weekends, 5 times weekends, Wargaming used to do a lot of them. Because back then there weren't boosters in the game. You couldn't just activate a booster and plow your way through a tank. You had to do it a little bit more strategically, at least in my opinion. And when you're a free-to-play player, then while I know that the 5 times does stack with a premium account, it just allowed you to make so much progress. But most importantly, if you can have a good 5 times experience game in a stock tank, it almost lets you completely skip the stock experience altogether at the low tiers. Around tier 5, tier 6, you kind of need about 5, 10, sometimes 15,000 experience to be able to get a tank fully unlocked. And so if you can have a really good game, then... Oh, nearly! I just splashed near him. I've actually tracked him, so that should get him killed. If you can have a really good game, then that actually allows you to completely skip the stock experience. If you weren't making use of your daily doubles or your 5 times experience games for these special weekends, then it can literally take you hours of suffering through the most disgusting, horrible vehicles known to man before you get them into a playable state. One thing I have been enjoying is working my way up the Soviet tech tree because... Oh, hello. What are you doing? Oh, hello. Hello, T-3485 butt. Thank you so much for presenting it to me. I have to admit, the way that you can work your way up the tech tree is just absolutely insane during these events. One thing that I've been really enjoying about playing the Soviet tanks again is because it reminds me of just how fun it is to figure out, oh, I can use this engine on this tank. If I unlock this tank, it's the stock engine, and so I can get it for free, and that's going to save me 5,000 experience on this tank. So if you want to go up a load of different tech trees all at the same time, it can be hugely beneficial to try and play like that. Now, of course, I'm not recommending to everyone that you try and work your way up all of the tech trees at the same time, because that might be a little bit too much for even people like me at times back in the day. Sometimes it's just best to play one tank, because if you play one tank, you can become fully focused in that playstyle. And when you become fully focused in that playstyle, you're likely to play the tank better. And if you play, oh, Tiger P, Tiger P, Tiger P, Tiger P, Tiger, oh, come on, just stop. No. Yeah, think about the stock KV2, my friend. Just think about it. Oh, come on, man. That's like 3,000 experience if that hit him. Okay, let's give it another go. So, yeah, if you manage to basically get entire modules for free on tanks just from unlocking other tanks, then it's absolutely crazy. Alright, this Tiger P, I really want to shoot him. Is it going to be second time lucky? Oh, should I just blind fire now? Oh, what? There's a tank over there. I better shoot that instead. Oh, hello. What are you doing, my friend? Hey, look behind you. No, he's behind you, T-34-1. I feel like I'm in a pantomime right now. Look behind you. How long does this turret take to turn? Oh my gosh, I turned it the wrong way. Oh well, I'm an idiot, obviously. Dude, look, I'm not kidding you, mate. He's behind you. Look behind you. I'm not aiming at you because I want to TK you, my friend. He's literally behind. Okay. I'm not trying to block you, mate. There's a tank behind you. I know there's a tank behind me. This is so awkward. Come on, just reverse. Come on, give me another tasty lick of experience. Oh, bloody hell. Got to repair the ammo rack. Yeah! Whoa! It was so close. Oh, God. I'm dead. The Firefly's got me. The Firefly's just straight up got me. Oh, no, not again. What is this? This happened in my last free-to-play video. I play my tier 6 tank, and then I get bloody tracked and just obliterated. Oh, for goodness sake. I got smashed. Smashed there by the, what was it? The Firefly something? The Firefly VC. I don't even know how he could see me at that point. Maybe I was spotted by the Hellcat or something. Well, that sucks. I feel like a complete numpty now. Bloody hell. I was trying to get the KV-13, and instead I get eviscerated from behind. This will not do. All right, what other tanks have you not seen me play on my free-to-play account? Oh yeah, I've got a new T-34. Look at it. Oh, it's so good. I've actually got a pretty good crew in this vehicle because look, I got Jane White, which for some reason loads of people say looks like Tanya. Bit weird, but okay. We'll move on. One thing that's interesting about this vehicle is that if you unlocked the gun from the T-28, you actually have the best gun on the T-34 right from the get-go. So while this is kind of a stock tank, it's also not a stock tank. So I'm hoping we can have a good one here. All right, come on. Awesome matchmaking. Whoa, that actually looks pretty okay. I'll take that. White Park, a bit of a freak of a map. This is actually really weird. I should have thought I'm playing a tier 6 heavy tank again. I've spawned in on Stajanki, and in the last video I sucked out, and in this video I sucked out. But what happened the very next game? Okay, the very next game I played a tier 5 Swedish medium, this time a tier 5 Soviet medium, and somebody decided to no-cap kill all at the end. Oh goodness, what was his name? It was the Cookie Monster or something, wasn't it? All right, this time the T-34. I'm just gonna win, right? Yeah, look at it. Look at this historical tank with the historical turret and all of that good stuff. All right, what's the plan then, ladies and gents? The plan is to probably make my way either towards the mid-ridge or make my way down the west. Not 100% certain what's going to be best for the tank and why. Well, if I go towards the mid-ridge, the Crusader and friends could be there. If I make my way down the east, oh, it's tricky. There's an AMX on the enemy team that I really don't like the look of because artillery sucks for when you get hit. I've only got 400 hit points. That's because I don't have a top turret. This is so weird playing stock tanks. Stock turret on the previous tank, stock turret on this tank. Spot an A20. Look at all these vehicles making their way towards the mid-range. Why are my shells flying nowhere near the reticle? Oh my lord. Kill, kill, kill the artillery. Kill it. Kill it before it lays eggs at the back of the map, and then I have to deal with its offspring. Oh goodness. Okay, cool. So now let's see if we can find this A20. This 57mm is going to be able to really pick this guy apart, but he's already firing premium rounds at the start of the game. Oh well. Am I going to get shot in the butt? No, I'm not actually. I should be okay. That's a P2640. That's the tier 4 Italian medium tank with the high explosive God rounds, right? Oh. Oh, nice. Nice, they're taking hits. Can't quite depress the gun enough there. Have a quick check behind me to make sure all is well in the world. It is. Oh, hello. Oh, what a shot. Apparently I just tracked him, but I didn't damage him. Maybe I can find another shot. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah! Yeah, we gotcha! Got revenge on the A20. To be honest, can't really judge him for loading premium rounds at the start of the game. I know just what it's like to play tanks on 5 times experience weekends. Oh, where is the guy? I don't know. Oh god, no derp guns. No derp guns. No, he's not using a derp gun. I'm gonna get his cupola. Let's get his cupola. Dude, this is 5 times. Give me my 5 times experience. What's that? Oh, I forgot ridgelines are in a bit of a shocking state. Oh, that's bad. Little Italian tanks knocking me for 6. Wow. I'm kind of holding back an enemy advance here. We're doing okay though. We've done a bit of damage. Trying to see if I can shoot his tracks down the side of the building. Oh, no. Have mercy! Have mercy! No, that's not mercy. That's an AP round of doom. Oh, come on. Well, nice shot, P43. Well played. He got into a nice position. He had some support. My team decided to push down the west. Looks like we're going to win this, but this was not the result that I wanted for such a nice matchup for the T34. Sorry, not the 43. Oh, this is annoying. I'm probably only getting about 2,000 experience from this. Nevertheless, the show must go on. Ugh. So what went wrong with this vehicle? Well, that top turret. Well, actually, to be honest, the top turret's not too bad. There's not that much difference in the armor between this turret and the next turret, if there's probably any difference at all. So I can't really blame the turret, to be honest with you. I mean, it might have had a little bit more armor. Obviously, more view range, more turret traverse. That's not really going to help too much. I think it's just a case of most likely having the crew skills. Oh, wow, 3,500 experience, though? I can get in on that. Okay, that's brilliant. Wow, that means that I can unlock either the engine if I want to on this vehicle, or more likely I'm going to unlock the tracks and the turret. Hey, we won the KV2 game as well. We did manage to get a kill in that one, and we splashed some other tank. Oh, just look at this progress. This is crazy. This is so good. Oh, I kind of want to play this tank again now it's fully equipped. Oh, I kind of want to. No, I must focus. There's 5 times experiences to get. So that's nice. We've got our T34 fully upgraded. Let's whack a few of those premium rounds in that I had. I've got a premium account right now, so I'm not too worried about loading more rounds than I need of premium, as long as you don't have to fire them. Alright, so wow, that was one of the easiest tanks to get into a really good position. 430 engine power, 500 engine power, not really necessary. I'm definitely very happy that I bought the tracks and the turret on this tank. And you don't need the 76mm. How weird is it that I've unlocked the 57mm before you can get the 76 here? How did you do that? Well, I got it from the T34, as I said. Not the T34, the T28. Alright, so, not exactly glorious games so far, but not terrible games. Alright, let's have a go in the Stridsvagn M42. So how are we doing in this vehicle? Well, we're not doing very well. We got the top turret. I guess I'm trying to save up to get the top gun. Let's resupply our ammunition in this tank. We'll take a few premium rounds just in case we have emergencies. And as you can see, I've put another one of the female commanders, Judy Snow, inside the Stridsvagn M42. So this vehicle, when you get the top gun, has really big alpha. But in this state, it really doesn't. And wow, look, I've actually played 1,000 games now on this account. Well, it's actually, I haven't played 1,000 games. I've played 500 games on my Plays for Free account, and it's rounded it up now to 1,000, because that's the way that the statistics work. Alright, cool. So Stridsvagn M42. Wow, look at my view range. Look at what a female commander does with binoculars. That's absolutely brilliant. While I'm not condoning people to... Actually, no, you don't need to buy loot crates. This is my free-to-play account. I haven't bought any loot crates on this account. I've actually got 3 female tankers just from doing getting the free crates and then breaking them down. A bit of a recommendation. If you really, really, really want to accelerate your progress through the Holydron Decker Rider, or by collecting all of the things that you dress up on your tank, I thoroughly recommend that you do random 5s. Don't do 4s, don't do 3s, don't do 2s, don't do 1s. They're pointless unless you're trying to collect them. But if you're trying to collect the whole thing, then you're not trying to push your festive cheer level up, right? So what I thoroughly recommend is that you try and do random 5s. I think they cost about 500 a pop, and that'll be enough to easily get you towards festive level 6, if not festive level 8. I think I'm starting to get close to festive level 9 on my account, but I have done quite a few of the daily doubles. Alright, so I'm making a bit of a risky play here. We're going to risk it for the biscuit. I don't know, when I'm playing my 5 times tanks, this could go really, really wrong, or it could go really, really right. Oh god, that's an HE dirt gun, isn't it? Oh, if I get tracked one more time. Okay, well, at least the M4's down. Oh, we're making risky plays. Risking it. If I can manage to get safe without the artillery hitting me, we should be able to do some sneaky stuff. Okay, cool. Oh, no, don't rush me. Please don't rush me. Please don't rush me. Please don't rush me. Please don't rush me. Mr. T3485M, have mercy! Oh, God. Yes, that's right. Kill him. Kill him, my friends. Oh, you better not rush me either. You son of a gun. You're trying to shoot me through the gap? You can actually shoot people through these gaps. There he is. Get him! Yes! Yes! Look at this spotting. This position's very, very, very strong. Not so strong if they get above you like that. But I'm locking down a tier 6 medium. I've allowed my tier 5 heavy to be able to push through. He's going to have to come around the corner and fight me in a second, I think. Ooh. Oh, of course you tracked me again. Let me guess, you don't have a weak point. I should have shot the top of the tank with my stock vehicle. For goodness sake, T-3485M just managed to shut me down. So it's an aggressive play to go towards the center. What did I want to do? Well, I wanted this guy to die before, and then I was going to go into these bushes, and you can manage to spot all the way down here. And then what you can do is you can pull back behind the bush, and then you can actually shoot the heavy tanks as they go through. Oh well. Dang, these 5 times experiences. They're not exactly going particularly wonderfully for me, but it could be worse. Okay, just before people ask, how the hell do you have an IS-6 and a Lorraine on your account? It's a rental. You can get rental codes on the European server. Not sure if they work on the other servers as well. Just use Google to find them. People have done nice things where they've actually... Oh, we can play the IKV. Ah, yeah. So finally I've managed to unlock the IKV, and this thing is a pretty good sniper. And I've got a female tanker inside this. But actually, I just realized I need to be a little bit sneaky. I'm not retraining my girls onto this tank quite yet because I need to win a game in the IKV 103. All right. So if I get a 5 times experience game, I'm going to unlock the radio. Then I'll have completed this vehicle, and then I'm going to move on. And look, I can use this radio on the next tank, so it saves me the experience there. So during these 5 times events, try and use your 5 times tactically to unlock modules on other vehicles. It can seriously help you out. All right, well, this isn't the matchup that we want. This one's going to be incredibly tricky. Okay, big game hunting. We've got artillery to watch out for. We've got a load of different tanks that we have to avoid. Cromwells especially. They can just kill me very, very quickly. KV2s can one-shot me. Both of their tier 7s two-shot me. And this is, unfortunately, a rather close-range, derpy tank. Now, you saw me post a highlight up of this vehicle where we were on Runeberg against low-tier vehicles, and we absolutely chewed our way through the enemy team, and we looked amazing, and it looked really, really good, right? No. For every game that I have like that, we usually have about 9 where they're incredibly awkward, and we usually get one-shot by the artillery, or something manages to derp me over a slope like they did in my their OI experimental yesterday. Okay, so nevertheless, let's move the IKV 103 out. Oh, God, don't push me into the heavy. Oh, goodness. I'm being tossed around, and I've already lost 53 of my hit points before we've even managed to leave the spawn with that Type 64. Okay, this is my moment. Can we kill the Cromwell at the beginning? This will be one of the most ridiculous derps of all time if I can manage it. I don't know why I'm sitting here. I should probably be off doing something else. Should we try and blind fire something? Yeah, why not? Let's go for a blind fire. That was really close. That chappie won't spot me unless I fire at him again. Oh, here we go. Are you ready? Oh! Headshot right at the start of this game. Standard heat rounds, nearly said premium heat rounds there. One-shotting the tier 5. Our opposite number is dead. Oh, the game is ours. We will be victorious. It's very important, just because you've had a good start, that you relax and you allow it to develop into a good round. All right, cool. So Chaffee just chilling ELC, working his way across there. All right, so M4A3E2. I think he's going to push, but that Type 64 is doing some serious work in the middle of the map. Now, I don't really want to push right now, because if I do, these guys are just going to shoot me in the side. So what I think I should do is actually go and support the M4A3E2. Now that we've got our one-shot across the valley, I could go and use my substantially lower hit points. Look, what? I can't believe that Type 64 basically rammed me into a heavy. Oh, Lord. And then I even took damage from an artillery. Shows you how lightly armored these tank destroyers are. Alright, so this M4A3E2 is clearly the assault version of the tank. Looks like he's using the stock turret and the derp gun. One of my favorite ways to play that vehicle as well. Now, I want to push forwards here, but I don't want to die for it. But, come on, buddy. Are we going to play? We can play. Come on, my friend. I believe in you. Do you believe in me? Yeah, he believes in me. We're friends now. ELC pings the map, saying that they're getting shot by tier 6 medium and light tanks. What a surprise. Okay, so let's go forwards into this bush. Maybe I can spot a cross over there. I'm always worried about tanks being over in that location. Luckily, I do have 6th sense in this vehicle, so it should be fairly nice. Okay, let's hope we can find the MT. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, son. Oh, yes, son! 272 damage dealt to a T-34. That's a good start. But now they know where I am. That was my ambush. There will be no more ambushes. I'm really worried about the artillery sneaking a shell into me. You can tell my artillery senses started tingling just as he managed to hit me. I've literally developed a response where I start to sweat and shake, knowing that those artillery reticles are over me. Whoa, look, the Cromwell and the MT-25 left. That means that we can push. I reckon this guy's probably going to one-shot the T-34. No, he's actually going to fire an HE shell into him. I'm going to look for a shell on the Cromwell. This is going to be a long-range shot. No, we can't actually find the tank. Oh, well. Let's try and find the MT-25 instead. Yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes. Wow, another one! This is a good game so far for this tank. Doesn't usually go this well, but I think I've deserved all of the good karma. Hello, MT-25. You having a good day? That's great. I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy for you. No, I'm not! I'm gonna kill you! Well, we completed some kind of TD mission. All right. Hey, big game hunting. So that's how I like to get female tankers on my free-to-play account, by completing the missions. Can't actually see that MT-25. He's got such good camo. What's that KV-2 doing? Oh god, the Cromwell's going into our base. Is that KV-2 going to push the bridge? No, I need to go and kill this MT-25. I have to... Oh, he's going to go cap. They're going to cap. I have to get into a position to stop them. Now, this is a bit of a weird situation because usually I would be like sitting up here defending against a push over here. Okay. Oh my goodness, back, stop pushing, says the Crusader. I agree with you. There's a Cromwell sitting up there. Whoa! I'm in so much trouble though. Oh, can you believe I'm gonna lose this game? No! No, they're all ignoring me and going on towards the base. And oh, we got an email. Sorry about that. Let me close that one down. Okay. Ah, what a disaster. There's 3 people capping. And yeah, that enemy artillery did end up coming back to get me. All right. Well, once more into the breach, my friends. Once more. Maybe they'll reset the cap. Maybe I should have repaired my my tracks there. Sorry, I was distracted by that email notification sound. Okay. Well, of course, it's the games that you do well in that you don't win. Why is that the case? Well, of course, in the games that you win, it's pretty straightforward. You can easily win the games that you... would have clicked the Cromwell. Well, I probably would have just died to him, to be fair. But, okay, so... Not bad. Let's hope we win that T-34 game as well. Oh, we definitely did win the T-34. What was the other one that we played? I can't even remember. So we played... Oh, yeah, in the Stridsvagn M42 where we got bum rushed by the T-34-85. So unfortunately, we didn't win in the IKV. So I tell you what, I want to play the IKV 65 Alt 2 for you anyway. So Stridsvagn M42, we did manage to do okay. Can we call that an okay game? I'm not sure if we can call that an okay game. One thing that we can do, however, is bloomin' equip the gun. Yeah! Okay, I didn't fail. So some of the tanks that you have to equip tracks on and some of the tanks that you don't. That's going to be a nice gun to use on this vehicle. Oh, it's a real good gun, actually. I'll take some premium rounds in it as well, I think. Probably about like 5. I think that's about how many rounds we can take on our pay-to-win account. We'll take a few more HE shells just in case we need to splash some tanks. It's always very useful. Okay, so I think I want to play one more game. And even though my crew are still stuck inside the IKV 103, as we can see here, because I do want to unlock the radio on this tank, and I'm going to be streaming, and I will get a win in that vehicle later. Let's play one in the IKV 65, even with a 75% crew. Should still be good. Okay, so we're going to get on a Malinovka, we're going to go to a Profika. I like my predictions today. I can tell when artillery are going to hit me, and I can tell when I'm about to get on sneaky tank destroyer maps. Although, this sneaky tank destroyer map, I think it's definitely better if it's standard for me. If it's standard, then yeah, I think that's definitely best, because I can go and sit in a location like this, or alternatively I can make my way up over here. But on encounter, I definitely prefer to be on the enemy team, because I can go there, and that position feels so much stronger for shooting, because Wargaming put a big old mound here to try and nerf this position as much as they possibly could. Nevertheless, what am I going to do in the IKV-65-2? Well, I'm clearly going to be a sniper. That's what I'm going to do. Doesn't look like these teams are very well matched, so I guess this is going to end up being my 5x experience game, so I better make it a good one, right? Okay, so let's push forwards. I'm so happy to have this tank. I really enjoy sniping in World of Tanks, and I don't have any glass cannon snipers, and all of the previous Swedish tank that you saw me playing is more of a derp gun. I mean, look, it can be fun, but sometimes you just want to try and zero in the shot and then go plow and then put a big old round into the back. That's what you want to do. I didn't even get spotted there. That's nice. Activate my camo. That guy's going to be there. Let's kill him. Ooh. Good stuff. And I got spotted this time. All right, cool. Let's fall back a little bit. Try and make some evasive maneuvers because artillery aren't going to get us. How much does this tank look like something from Warhammer 40,000, by the way? I really think it looks like a Rhino or a Raider. I don't know what the names were of the things. I can't quite remember now. Talking about can't quite remember now. I don't think this T50 has remembered how you're meant to play World of Tanks, because he's going for a swim. Maybe he hasn't figured out how to play World of Tanks yet. Oh, bless him. He's just started playing, and then he's got a horrible, nasty little sniper like me on the enemy team dealing with him. What's this Panzer III for? Man, these artillery are starting to make me nervous. It sounds like I'm in a war zone right now. Well, you are playing a game that simulates World War II, Mr. Quickie. Maybe, okay, I know that. Well, I do know that, but I don't know. Kind of distance yourself. Sometimes you forget that you're actually playing a game that's based on such a dramatic and kind of harrowing period of history, right? And they were all having fun with it. The mind of the Quacky baby, going from joyous sniping and giggles and silliness to the serious business. Oh well. Let's move on. IKV-65-2 in position, sniping it out, artillery all over the place. My team has taken the hill. ELC, even AMX 90 bis. I just combined all of the names there into one. That would be a monster tank, wouldn't it? Give it a 90mm autoloader. Hold on, it does. Oh, that's why it's called a 90. Oh well. Just combine all the tanks into one. Well, clearly the vehicle's over here and he's managing to spot through. I'm just going to be patient right now. I kind of want to be aggressive, but I kind of also don't, because I thought that they would push, and they have. Oh, 75% crew and bad track traverse does not make me a happy camper. This is going to be a hard snipe unless he decides to just stop, because that's what you're meant to do, right? It's just stop and feed the baby, apparently. Apparently that's what you're meant to do today in World of Tanks. You're meant to stop and feed the baby. Although that hasn't really happened too much, has it? Whoa, I love sniping in these tanks. I reckon I'm going to get hit by the artillery or the ELC. The ELC is going to hit me from over there, I think. Man, that death toaster looks like my bigger cousin who ate all the pies. Hey, I didn't mean to offend you. Chill, bro. I won't take your pies. I'll leave them in the fridge or the pantry or whatever. Where'd you keep pies? I guess you kind of have to keep them refrigerated, don't you? Otherwise you have to eat them pretty quickly. Alright, T-52. Come on! Feed the baby. Feed the baby some tasty pies. Shall I go off and fight him? It's definitely not a good idea right now. Whoa, those artillery shells are a bit nervous. God, Bishop, what are you doing right here, right next to me? Okay, that T-52 is really wounded now, and he's leaving the cap circle. So let's see if we can get him. Can we get him? Well, we can't, but somebody else can. There's the ELC who's been spotting us all game. He's got to know that I've spotted him. Like, what? How do you not figure out? I mean, there's somebody aiming directly at you. How do you not figure out that you have been spotted by that point? Oh, my sixth sense. Well, I mean, he doesn't have sixth sense, otherwise it would have gone off. But would he have reacted to it? I don't know, little lamb. Oh. Oh, no, don't do this. No. Oh, thank goodness. We can't have that happening on a live video. On live YouTube. YouTube Live. Is that a thing? Is it called YouTube Live? I don't know, really. I'm so happy streaming on Twitch. I wouldn't even really look at the competition. It sounds rather ignorant, doesn't it? Why won't even look at the competition? Should we shoot this 12T? Oh, T1 heavy, big fat American tank out in the open. Oh, it was close, no cigar though. Okay, I think it's time to attack. So there's an archer on the enemy team. If I was an archer, where would I be? Whoa, well apparently I don't need to even ask that question anymore. Oh, goodness, I've been spotted out in the open. This is really bad. That archer's got me. Well played, little archer. Well played. Oh, well, unfortunately, you missed, and my artillery killed you. Why does it feel like I'm Saving Private Ryan right now, and I'm Tom Hanks just randomly shooting at things that should have the huge advantage, but then they end up getting blown up? Alright, cool. T1 heavy is going to feed me at the end of the game. 3 artillery are clearly over in that position. I'm not going to worry about them because I could go and snack on this thing. Ooh, tasty. Oh, have mercy. Oh, that's not what we wanted. I wanted to damage him a little bit more. Hey, bro, don't do that. Oh, can we get the M44 at the end of the game? No. All right, well. Hey, don't try and TK me. What's up with that? It's not very nice. So, the IKV 65-2 with a 75% crew, or albeit on a nice map and a nice matchup for the tank. I'm happy with this game. This should be about 6,000 experience. I hope it should be about 6k. Oh, only 5k? That's a bit of a shame. But we get a high caliber medal. Hey! Alright, well at least we did do well in one tank today. Ladies and gents, I got exactly the same experience as him. So did I finish first? I guess I finished joint first with Daniel. Well, GG Daniel, you did a good job, bud. Alright, so I've actually got 9,000 experience in this vehicle. I'm wondering what's the first thing that I should get in it. This engine is as cheap as chips. The engine actually only increases it by 25? Okay, well that's still significant. That's over 10%. Tracks will look like they'll really help. They'll go up by 2 degrees. Obviously, I'm not going to get the engine. Should we get the gun? I mean, this gun was okay in a nice matchup like that, but I'm a free-to-play player, so I'm not going to fire heat. So I guess I should get the gun first. Even though I'm going to lose rate of fire, the standard pen will go up, which will allow me to not have to fire premium rounds at people. But maybe the tracks and the engine will be the best thing on this vehicle, because this gun feels fairly nice. You know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to take the tracks, and I think I'm going to take the engine on this tank. I think that's going to be the best way to upgrade the vehicle. And look at this progress on my free-to-play account. All right, let's open up some boxes as well. I mean, they don't ever really have anything good in them. But oh well, what are you going to do? I've got 1 3. I got a 4 and 2 3s. Whoa, I got 2 4s. I got 3 4s. Well, I'm definitely opening up all my boxes on stream. Well, at least my free ones, because I get lucky in those. I don't really get lucky when it comes to... I haven't seen a 5 in a free box before. And some 4s as well. How did I get so fortunate? This is amazing. Okay, that's really good. Let's try and put some more of our decorations on the tree then, just for the sake of... Oh, we've already got that. Did we get a 5? No, we got a 4 though. Oh, we've nearly got holiday cheer. We're going to make it? Okay, should we do it? Should we try and get holiday cheer 5 in this video right at the end of it? Okay, I need to get that decoration. Let's take a look on my Christmas tree to see what we're doing. So I need baubles. I can just get a random bauble-y thing. Let's do a bauble. We can get a 5 bauble. That'll be good. Okay, get shards. Select all the ones I don't need. Break them down. Okay, to crafting. Now, I did recommend that you do random 5s, but here's the thing. Because I've got so many 5s already, as you can see, I'm not going to do random 5s anymore. I'm going to actually do specific 5s because otherwise it's silly. All right, so we need to get a bauble. So we're going to go craft. We're going to select bauble, and we're not going to do specific because there's no point because it doesn't matter what it is. All right, here we go. Boop. Cool, we got a doggy to put on the tree. That's nice. What is it specifically? It is a pendant doggy. Okay, cool. I was kind of joking. All right, there you go. Pendant doggy. Hooray! And Festive Atmosphere 9. What does that mean? That means that we're also going to get a garage slot. Oh, a garage slot on a free-to-play account. That's beautiful. A 40% discount off any tier 9. 120,000 credits. And, whoa, that's nice as well. 100% extra for 2 hours. I probably should have used that today. Or maybe I'll use that when the 5 times events ends. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that's it for today. Some more 5 times free-to-play drama. hopefully all of you out there who have still got tanks to unlock gain something from this. I feel like I've given you enough tips and tricks about how to strategize unlocking modules on certain tanks like the T28, so that once you get the T34 you've got the upgraded gun for the vehicle, and how tanks like the T150 and also the KV2 can mix and match the 170mm gun between the tanks. And did I say 170mm? I wish. No, the 107mm gun between the two tanks. So that's going to allow me to play my T150 in better fashion. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. But if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And good luck to all of you out there who are still trying to dress up your garage. And as always,
defend our zone until the time runs out.
yeah, he goes on a bit. Hey everyone, it's Quickie Baby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And you are checking out my first ever game of Frontline on my Plays for Free account. So as you all know, I started a second account last year to try and get back into touch what it's like to play this game truly for free. And then recently I undertook a challenge from you guys, my community, which was instigated by Kevin Wang, to do the French wheeled marathon. And during the journey I thought, what kind of vehicle do I really want to go for first at tier 8? And I thought Pantera. Why wouldn't I want to get an auto-loading Italian medium tank? And then I realized I've got an auto-reloading Italian medium tank. I've also got an EBR 75. Holy moly, that's like the match made in heaven for having Frontline, right? So, free to play Frontline, although with a lot of time invested. Let's check it out and see what we're able to achieve. And this is the very first game I've played in, so I don't have all of the luxuries that you might be accustomed to, having Inspire, having max rank engineering. I've literally got level 1 engineering throughout. Alright, so one of the things that I've been really enjoying about playing Frontline this week, we're now in episode 2, is that I figured out, holy moly, this game mode is actually really fun with friends. And yesterday I was playing with my good buddies Phil and M4, they're also moderators inside my Twitch channel, if you've seen them around, and we are in 3 Italian medium tanks. And look at this synergy right now, linking up, we're advancing through the front, we shut down the Progetto on the enemy team, and we're literally talking through our reloads there, and we get out quite a tricky situation. But look at that, the momentum and the synergy that we have as a 3-person group. Now I've been making my plays in Frontline as just a solo player, and I've just realized if you do manage to get some coordination going in Frontlines with a group of 2 or 3, you can be absolutely hugely influential in swaying the battle in your team's favor, or at least winning fronts at least. Now, of course, you can't win all fronts. It's not like a regular battle of World of Tanks when you can lock down the cap circle and that's it for the enemy team, right? That's not the case here. You're going to have to try and win on all 3 fronts, and unless you split your platoon up, that's just not going to be possible unless your team is exceptional on the other front and you try to target the weakest front. Now, of course, how do I recommend targeting the weakest front? Well, if you press your tab key, you can actually see how many enemy tanks there are on the front. And as we just went in and we absolutely obliterated the enemy team, they're probably not going to hang around here for very long. And as you can see, slowly but surely, the players who have died on the enemy team are leaving this front. At least a couple of them have already, or maybe a couple of players have joined our front. I'm not 100% certain. But eventually, more and more players are going to leave, and the worst thing that you can probably do is just to leave your whole platoon on the same front when there's nothing left to do. That's really not a very good idea. So what I tell Phil and M4 right now is, look, this front is dead. There's nothing we can really add to it. Some of the players on the enemy team don't have any tanks that they can even spawn in. And I want to also play quite cautiously, because obviously I've only got 2 tier 8 vehicles on this account. I managed to pick up a rental of the T44 Frontline edition, and I can't believe that if you purchase that thing even with 240,000 credits to rent it for a week, that you don't even get it with a 100% crew. It comes with a 75% crew. That's just absolutely awful. It's not even a reward tank, I don't think, although I'm going to check later on today. And so you can't even use your Soviet medium tank crews from maybe your T-43 or your T-34-85 or any of the vehicles inside it as well. So it's crazy, in my opinion, why Wargaming are kind of preventing people from being able to get into Frontline and being comfortable. I'm not saying that it has to be a premium tank, the T-44 Frontline edition, but why not at least make it a reward vehicle so that you can use your crews in it without penalty and having to play around with a 75% crew. Alright, so this is why I love the Pantera. It's actually got really good accuracy at long range, and while you don't really want to go too deep in the magazine, because the more that you fire, the more that you lower your damage per minute, and your reload gets longer and longer, the deeper you go into the magazine, It's just absolutely awesome to be able to dump in 720 damage on your opponents. Oh my word, I always get nervous going over these bridges. I think they're my bane. And so as you can see, the front that we left, we were outnumbering the enemy, and they're not going to push through into the C cap. And so me, Phil, and M4 have decided to move to B instead to try and get a flanking position out on our opponents. We've already lowered the health of the Scorpion. Now hopefully we can get behind this big glut of tanks there. And that's really what I recommend that you do if you're playing in a platoon with your friends, is it's not enough to just sit on one front. If you've managed to decimate the enemy and they've gone to the other fronts because they don't want to spawn again to be killed by you, then definitely look to move to other fronts to be able to stop them from losing out as well. Because obviously the goal is to try and defend all three fronts, right? And you can't do that by just remaining on one. Alright, so this T-92 is going... Watch this. This is actually quite funny. So we fire one blind. I thought he was going to go forwards. He didn't. I'm thinking about firing the second blind, but I realized, no, I kind of want to keep my DPM. You'll see that I wait for the shell to actually go back in, something you have to do in your Italian auto-reloaders if you want to maintain effective damage on your opponents. Because if you fire with 0.1 seconds left on the reload, that shell doesn't actually get loaded into the tank, and yet you fire the backup one. And so you can lose literally an entire reload if you fire a fraction of a second too early. One thing that's a bit annoying for me as well, I'm not sure if any of you have figured this out, is that the audio tells of the actual, you can hear the shell being loaded into the breach, are just a little too early. Obviously they make sense because the shell would go in and you'd hear the friction between the two surfaces of the shell and the gun barrel, or the breach. But it's just so annoying if you try and depend on that to know, okay, now it's time to fire, and then you find out you fired too early, so don't make that mistake. Alright, now this is just the best situation to find yourself in Frontline, right? Defending a cap circle and having multiple opponents to shoot at. But I didn't think this IS-4 was going to be going for me. Now I fire one at him, and I'm going to try and fire a second in, but he's angled his armor enough to be able to bounce my shot. Luckily, Phil and M4 have arrived, and one of them are inspiring. And when you get the inspire buff inside World of Tanks for a platoon, that's just phenomenal, especially an Italian auto-reloading platoon. You're now kind of having really good single target DPM if you choose to use that, and it doesn't even feel so bad going deeper into the magazine. One thing as well that a lot of people don't think about Inspire is that it increases your view range massively, and so that actually allows you to be able to spot your opponents at very decent distances, especially if you're playing French-wheeled light tanks. Now everybody knows that the problem with the French-wheeled light tanks is they can't use binoculars, and while they can use coated optics, at least with regards to the Lynx and the EBR-75 that you will be playing in Frontline, their base view range is, I think, 310. And no matter how hard you try, even if you're willing to use premium consumables and you've got a 7-skill crew with situational awareness, brothers in arms, and recon, you're still not going to get that view range up above about 400. And so that Inspire can make huge plays for French-wheeled light tanks, allowing you to, when you get into the open, for example, make a huge sweeping play against your opponents and light up a lot of their tanks. And then, of course, you're going to be able to reload faster, and even that Inspire can make you more accurate in a Lorraine 40T or an AMX 5100, for example. Use it just before you're about to unload a full magazine because you've caught somebody out in the open. You're going to be more accurate, and then afterwards, because your loader has increased crew skill and your commander's been boosted up a little bit, sometimes the radio operator is actually the loader on your French auto-loading tanks, and then you're going to be able to reload faster to be able to go after them. Now you'll notice that I came around that corner so confidently against this Samoa SM, and that is because he made a huge mistake. Don't do what he did. And that is that he didn't hold down his right mouse button when he turned his tank around. It's one of the most stupid things that you can do, to look behind you but not lock your turret in place. Because here's the thing, unless somebody's been counting your shells when you're playing in an autoloader, then they're not really going to know for sure if you've got another one, right? But it's a pretty telltale sign that somebody is not interested in shooting you if they don't hold their right mouse button down, they turn their camera around, and their turret starts to traverse away from you, right? Yeah, that's not really going to work out too well, is it? And so I saw that, and then so I felt confident that we can probably get the Samoa and be able to push him. Alright, so we die. But again, me, Phil, and M4 are actually doing a great job of just locking down all the fronts. We stopped the enemies from pushing into E there, but once we left C, they actually managed to take C. So I've decided to respawn away from my buds, because unfortunately I was the only one to die there. You can see they're still alive in their Pantera and their Progetto, respectively. and I'm going to play the EBR. Now, while I do have brothers-in-arms on this vehicle, I don't even think that I have Sixth Sense at the moment. Oh no, wait a minute, maybe I do, because I think I might have a female commander. I'm not 100% certain, we'll find out in a second. But my crew are not exceptionally skilled. I don't even have maximum concealment on this vehicle. I think it's about 50%. And if I just zoom in on the minimap here, take a look at how bad our view range is in this vehicle. This is a tier 8 light tank. It probably is packing about 370, maybe 360 meters view range right now. That's absolutely horrific. And if you're not spotting for yourself, then that means that you're only getting 50% of the experience against your opponents. And when you're trying to push up the ranks and you want to be that first captain, or you want to be the major, or you want to be the general, well, it's not going to work out too well for you. Now we put one into the back of that Pantera there, setting him on fire. And what I want to do is basically just try and keep harassing. Now, I did play the Lynx quite a lot inside the first episode of Frontline last month, and while I thought the Lynx is a great vehicle with a nice single-shot 90mm gun and very impressive high explosive rounds with 90mm of penetration and 320 alpha damage, I have to admit, the EBR-75, for me, it just feels like the superior vehicle. Being able to go backwards faster and having this 2-round magazine just suits the bursty combat. You see how we can put in 2 shots against the SU before he realizes and he starts to aim at us. With the Lynx, for example, you could only put 1 shot in, and there's no hope in hell with the bad reload that the vehicle has and the poor DPM that you're going to be able to sit there for long enough to be able to put the second in without them hitting you in return, or at least having a chance to hit you. But being able to unload 2 75mm shells within 1.5 seconds of each other on this tank just feels absolutely incredible. And the fact that the alpha damage is 175 means that you're still doing 350 damage with that 2-round burst. That's very, very, very brutal. Also, the high explosive rounds on this vehicle, while they're not quite as good as the Lynx, they're still packing 260 damage, and the fact that you can fire 2 of them means that you have a 520 high explosive burst against lightly armored targets. But although you do have 75mm of penetration, which is worse than the 90mm that the Lynx has. One word of advice, and actually I'm going to bring up Wargaming's website for this because they just actually released a fantastic article about Frontline. And I want to talk to you about this with regards to the high explosive rounds as well that you're going to be using, is that if you're targeting the back of the enemy objectives, let me show you. There are actually weak points on the back of the gun turrets that Wargaming is showing here. Let me move this over a little bit so you can still see the combat. This yellow door hatch behind the objective is actually 70mm thick. And now, while I was able to successfully go through that with my Lynx's high explosive rounds, very reliably because it's 90mm of penetration, I actually found that the EBR-75 and its 75mm of high explosive penetration was insufficient for going through the door. And just today I learned somebody on the stream was telling me, oh, why don't you shoot the vents instead? And they're completely right. Apparently there are ventilation shafts here, here, and here on the back of these emplacement turrets that you can shoot that only have 25mm of armor. And so you're easily going to be able to penetrate those even with very low caliber high explosive rounds, even on something like a Progetto or in any of your generic medium tanks. Maybe you're playing in a Pershing. Just load HE and shoot at those vents. But of course you're going to have to be able to sit still and aim accurately in close proximity to them to be able to penetrate. That will allow you to be able to pick up tons of damage on the back of the enemy objectives. Alright, so let's see how this battle is going. Well, I've linked up finally with M4 again. I think M4 just died for the first time. He is on 8 kills right now. Phil is on 7, and I am only on 2. Although that is 2 kills with 3,500 damage and 2,000 spotting, so maybe I've just not been very good at kill securing. Alright, so I let M4 know that I really don't want to die right now, so I'm actually going to pull back and try and flank around and get towards the repair depot. I can't really help him against the IS-3 and all the heavy tanks that are pushing in there. When I don't possibly have my Pantera to load back into at this moment, you've really got to be very, very careful. I had to play so much safer on my free-to-play account than I could on my pay-to-win account, or my main account, whatever you want to be calling it. Yeah, pay-to-win account? Oh gosh, we'll go there. Yeah, okay, whatever. Let's not focus on it. But it is when you think about it. But I tell you what, you guys judge whether this free-to-play account is really holding me back as much as I thought. And as long as you invest your time wisely into the right vehicles and you still know about how to play, you can be very, very successful.
We have lost
And in fact, it looks like we might be one of the first captains on the team, along with my buds, M4 and Phil. Good stuff. So this is actually a wonderful moment of the game when we are picking up a lot of spotting. Look at that. We were lighting up all of those targets, and I've got a gun line here that are nailing them for me. And spotting inside World of Tanks is blooming useful. If you can manage to get into a good position, then you're still going to be getting 50% of the experience that the player... Well, you're going to be getting the same experience as the person who deals the damage. Because, of course, if you're spotting, you're getting half of the experience that they would have been getting if they're not spotting the target themselves. And so, while you're probably going to have to get something like... Well, obviously, you have to get like 10,000 spotting for the equivalent of 5,000 damage on targets that you can see. It can be quite a lot easier to pick up spotting against multiple targets if you've got a big gun line. Alright, so the enemy team are now going to be pushing into the ECAP circle. And this is without a doubt the most important position to be in inside Frontline. I'm not talking about this tiny little location, although I think it's very good for defending the ECAP over here. It's more about interrupting enemy tanks as they enter the cap circle, and the easiest way for you to be able to go and successfully get higher ranks inside Frontline is to defend and attack the cap circles. Now, how does the decapping work inside Frontline? Well, the person who actually gets the kill is the person who gets all of the base reset points. However, if you damage somebody, it actually blocks them for, depending on what your engineering level is, a set number of time, and you will be getting all of the decap points that person was unable to achieve because you blocked their ability to cap. And as you can see, we've just pretty much got halfway through the captain rank with that tiny little bit of damage there against the Type, the WZ, and the Emil. But it's because we were doing the base defense points that we were really able to be successful. Alright, so this was one of my favorite moments in the battle, and that's because Phil, so I was just wondering if it was Phil or it was M4 inside the EBR, but I realized M4 doesn't quite have an EBR, and even though I offered to get him one, he says he doesn't want one. Talk about gift horse, right, ladies and gents? But Phil is lighting up these projettos and is allowing me to engage at long range. And remember, in a vehicle like this, it's completely awkward to be able to shoot your opponents, because when your view range is so bad and the projettos is so long, that means that if you can see them, they are very much likely to be able to see you. And so, if you can work with one of your allies, of course, if they don't fire, if they're spotting and they're not firing, so they maintain their camo, and the other one of you just shoots, then at a longer range, that means you can actually engage people inside these vehicles without the chance of them returning their rounds. Alright, so we're a few shells away from Major in this game now, and while we don't have the most kills, with M4 out-killing me by a ratio of 2-1 and Phil nearly the same, I'm starting to feel like, is there a tiny chance that we might actually be able to get General in our first ever game of Frontline on a completely free-to-play account that I haven't spent a penny on, and without having all of the advantages of having Inspire, having full-level engineering? I literally only have level 1 engineering right now. And it's more about the culmination of course, if this had actually been my first game of Frontline, I wouldn't stand a chance. I'd probably be driving around going, oh god, what is this? What am I meant to do? Oh, shall I go over there? Where shall I go next? But I've played probably about 100 battles of Frontline now. But to be able to take what I've learnt and then apply it to this complete free-to-play account, although I am using a vehicle which, unless you had 60 hours to be able to grind for, you would have had to have spent a little bit of money on. Hopefully I'm going to be able to portray the tips and tricks that I've learnt, that all of you will then be able to replicate, to hopefully be able to get some decent ranks as well. And there we go, Major in this battle. And it looks like there's at least 4 minutes left on it. Alright, so I'm going to try and track this Lorraine, and while I do a little bit of tracking damage to the Lorraine, I'm unable to be able to do as much as I need to be able to take the guy's track off. And then I did not realize, but there's a Progetto and a T-54 gunning me right now, and I end up against another Progetto, and I'm just hoping that maybe I can escape this death trap that I've got myself into, and oh, shut down. Well, a bit of poor tunnel vision there by me. I didn't realize what kind of a tricky situation I was going to get myself into. And the fact that I stopped and engaged that Lorraine. I was going for those tracking shots, but that was the first real poor play of this front line. And yeah, while you can get lucky and sometimes evade all of that damage inside your EBR, yeah, sometimes you are going to get shut down. But nevertheless, I get to spawn in the Pantera. Alright, so let's talk about this stage of the game when you are trying to defend your objectives. and the enemy team have managed to pretty much push through all of the fronts. Well, at this stage, it's all about damage limitation. There's no way for you to stop them from taking all of the objectives, or shall I say at least 1 or 2 of them. But remember, you only have to defend 3. They need to kill 3, so as long as you protect 3, and they can have 2 for all of you care, then you're still going to be able to win the battle. And so, the enemy have actually made a fantastic play to push through and take 4, which actually is right in the middle. Usually they're going to start from the flanks and take 1 or 5 and then push their way in. The fact that they've taken 4 so aggressively now leaves us wide open. We have to defend at least 2, right? And we have to defend 3. There's no way we're going to be able to defend 1, so it's all about focusing on what you can actually defend. 1 is gone, so I wanted to make sure that I made my way over towards 2. 3 is very hard for the enemy to be able to get their hands on, because 3 is actually on top of a hill, and for them to be able to get up there, it takes them a while, but more importantly, it's a lot easier to defend a hilltop against an enemy advance, although in World of Tanks with gun depression and going hold down with the turrets doesn't really quite work out like that when I think about it. I still feel like 3 is one of the safest objectives. And so that meant that I had to really focus on 2. And now what I'm going to do is get behind this Carnarvon. I'm going to aim for the back of the tank. I'm going to track him, so if my team damage him, we'll get a few extra points. And there you go. Wham, bam, Carnarvon taken down. Nearly up to 10,000 damage here, although it certainly has been a very long battle. Alright, now we've got 2 pretty much completely safe, although it looks like it is taking a little bit of damage, maybe from a little bit of collateral fire. But now what we can hopefully do is just stop the enemy team from advancing from 1 till 2. But what I realize at this moment is that while I'm enjoying this moment, look how many tanks we have. This is ridiculous, right? We don't need to be here, and you can see it clicks in my mind at that time. Don't just go into a blob. You can see that all of these little lemmings are chasing after this M4190 as if they're bees flocking towards some pollen. Obviously, bees are the ones that make the honey. They're not going to flock towards honey. Anyway, just WZ132. Hopefully we get to ram him, but not quite. I'm a little bit sad about that because I'm halfway through Major and we've got 4 minutes left now to get towards General. But with only 3 objectives left now, it's going to be a close run if we're going to be able to take this one down. So anyway, don't be a muppet. Don't stay on a flank that's already run. The fact that all of those guys over there are doing what they're doing on this location is just a waste of time. Obviously, the enemies are pushing in here. They're coming in from the E-cap, which they just took, and they're going to make their way towards 3 and 5. And so if we want to win this battle, we have to defend both 3 and 5, and hopefully we're going to be able to stop the enemy's advance. So I'm telling Phil, I'm telling M4, let's go get together and see if we can do this, buds. And I quickly realized just how many tanks are advancing at us. It's pretty much about 10 vehicles on their way up towards the hill. And yeah, while the Pantera is a great vehicle, it doesn't really have the DPM to be able to vanquish everybody very, very quickly. Alright, so unfortunately we're not going to get anything done if we miss our first shot, right? And actually, do you see how I fire a little too early there? And so I actually interrupt the reload, and so I don't have 2 shells loaded. Oh, that's a bit horrific. Okay, anyway, let's not worry about that. Let's focus on this LT-432. And you'll notice that I don't actually fire because I want to fully load my gun and start my damage rotation. In a vehicle like this, if you fire out all of your shells, then you're never going to be able to stop multiple opponents from taking you on. You have to fire them one by one to maximize your DPM. Although if you have an opportunity to secure a kill, do it. It's not the end of the world if you fire the second. And to be honest, in the Pantera, unlike the Progetto, it's actually got a very good reload for its third. So we've got an IS-3A approaching M4 from behind, so I decide to push through the front. And I'm going to give myself as long as I can to be able to reload, but oh no, the enemies have actually taken the objective. But the game isn't ending. And so I decide to ram the Progetto, and look how close we are to the general rank. Come on, baby! Yes! The final little bit of a ram against the Progetto secures the general rank for myself, which was the first on my team, and I could not have been happier. Now, why is the game going on? You can see I raised my gun in victory. The very first game that I play in on my Plays for Free account, I do get general, but of course I could not have even got close to doing this without my good buddies Phil and M4. But you're wondering, why did the games go on so long after the objectives have been killed? And that's because there's, although I've talked about this on the channel before, there's something that maybe a few of you didn't know. And that is that every time a vehicle is killed after a base is capped, or the objectives are killed, as it works in the same way, it actually extends the duration of the game by 5 seconds. And so if you can keep linking in kills, the game could go on, not indefinitely, but for as long as there are still vehicles to be able to take out. So quite a performance from our platoon here, and that means that we get some kind of special medal for when you get over 20 kills between you. We actually managed to pick up 26 this battle. And while the gross earnings are 133,000 for this battle, after all the repairs, we only received 85,000 credits. Of course, without a premium account, but if we had been using one, that would be 151. That's pretty much double the amount of credits that you would receive, because obviously it's not any cheaper to fire ammunition and repair tanks without a premium account. And so your base costs are the same with or without, which means that your net profit will be substantially higher than the 50% raw credit income. One thing I was quite happy with, however, is 5,256 experience is very decent. This battle lasted just under half an hour, and even if I'd been playing pretty well, it would have taken me at least an hour to be able to get that without a premium account by playing in the random queue. But of course, all of that really comes down to the fact that we were able to secure the general rank with the RAM at the end, which pretty much boosts the amount of experience we get by about 100%. And so I really want to highlight several things with this video. Number one, yeah, it's perfectly possible to dominate the game without having all of the advantages that you can get inside Frontline. You don't have to have 5 crew skills. You don't have to be slinging premium rounds with premium consumables. You can even play standard tech tree vehicles. And while having tanks like the Progetto or the EBR-75 or the Lorraine will definitely be an advantage, they're by no means a necessity. Through active defense of the cap circles, putting yourself on the right fronts where there are the most enemy tanks to be able to shut down, reading the map and making preemptive play rather than reactive play. It will allow you to rack up lots of experience, which will give you increased rewards. So my recommendations for free-to-play vehicles to be able to get your hands on to dominate in Frontline would be number one, Pantera. The Pantera with an auto reloader is just so incredibly flexible. It can play the single shot tank if the situation allows it to, but also just unload its magazine if the situation demands it, and you absolutely have to just get that 700 damage out, and then you're going to have about 30 seconds to be able to reload. It's phenomenal for that. Next up, I really think that the Lynx is a great vehicle, and while I don't think it's as strong as the EBR-75, because the EBR-75 can go slightly faster backwards and it has that kind of bursty autoloader, the Lynx, with careful use of its high explosive rounds with 90mm of penetration, 320 alpha damage, can be absolutely devastating. And if you can get yourself engineering on a vehicle like that, you can quite often push an enemy cap circle or even defend your own by simply being in it and making a rush around enemy vehicles and interrupting them with your high explosive rounds, which will give you huge amounts of ranks. On the other hand, if French-wheeled light tanks aren't your thing, you really can't go wrong with something like a 5100. The AMX 5100 is all about planning the perfect ambush, and what more do you need than 1,800 damage in a single magazine? That's enough to kill an entire vehicle inside the cap circle, or hopefully multiple vehicles that started on reduced hit points. Well-rounded medium tanks wise, you really can't go wrong with a T-44. Since Wargaming have buffed it, while again I think the T-44-100 will be the superior vehicle and make you loads more credits, there's nothing wrong with the standard T-44. On the other hand, if heavy tanks are more your thing, I'd probably look to pick up an IS-3, or I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I think a T-32 could actually be really good in Frontline. Now, why do I think a T-32 could be quite good? Because that turret with its 10 degrees of gun depression is going to be able to bounce everything. And sure, it doesn't have the best penetration in the game with, I think, just around about 200 standard rounds. It's still going to be enough for most of the vehicles you're going to be shooting at. And loads of people are playing glass cannon tanks like Progettos, Scorpions, Su-130 PMs. That you're easily going to be able to pick them apart, and they're going to really struggle if you manage to use that turret well. And finally, tank destroyer wise, well, it's probably just about getting the biggest gun and the best mobility, really. So I think that maybe the Su-100, or should I say 101, could be an absolute stellar vehicle for the Frontline. And finally, I just want to round off by saying just how much fun it was to play in a platoon inside the Frontline game mode. Playing with Phil and M4, while we definitely have years of practice playing together, and so we were quickly able to develop synergy. There's something about being able to respawn and then be able to play together, or if one of you dies, that it doesn't really matter because they can just respawn and then come back or go and work a different front, and then you can rendezvous later on to be able to achieve some epic stuff. It was just wonderful. One of my least favorite things in World of Tanks is when you die a little bit early and then you have to sit there and kind of watch your friends maybe play for possibly up to 10 minutes if they're having a really good, long, drawn-out battle. It just didn't quite work out. I like the idea of being able to go back in and help them. And being able to do that in Frontline, massive thumbs up. And so if you haven't tried platooning, or haven't even tried the Frontline game mode yet, I thoroughly recommend it. Go and get up to a couple of friends, platoon up, and you'll be surprised about how impactful you can be when you're working together, which can almost completely take away that feeling of just uselessness that your team is not able to hold a front, or alternatively push the enemy camp circle. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, long one today, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully this was useful for you, or maybe you just enjoyed the sport of playing my first ever game on the Plays for Free account and getting a ram kill to get general at the end. Although I guess we ended up in a defeat either way. If you did enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, make sure you give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments if you've got anything to add to what I've said. Have I missed out any vehicles that you would recommend for a free-to-play player? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.